Hello, I'm so sorry I'm late. Are people still on the call?
Hello, Paul. Welcome here. We are waiting for
I feel terrible about this. I'd actually sent an email yesterday that I've had a small emergency and I'm unfortunately going to need to leave town. I thought I was already going to be gone, but since everybody's here, I do have time right now. If everybody hasn't left, I feel so terrible about this. Do you want me to run you through a quick 20-minute presentation?
It will be great. I'm just need to check out with my colleagues whether we are waiting for someone or not. I'm going to tell you in 1 minute.
Okay, perfect. And I sent an email to Denise yesterday, canceling this. But now that everybody's here, I definitely want to do something for you.
You're amazing. It's not at all. This is important that we have you right now here.
Okay.
Can we just wait for 1 or 2 minutes?
Please. I have till 11 o'clock, so take your time.
Okay. It's amazing. Paul, if you're ready, we can start.
Okay, perfect. For those who are still on the call, I really want to apologize. There was a communication breakdown, but I'm glad you're all here. And then before I get started, I want to say two incredibly important things that are unique to this call. First is I absolutely love Turkey. It is one of my favorite places to visit. It's such a wonderful culture. I think I've been 5 times in my life. When I retire, which isn't coming for a long time, because my kids are very expensive. But someday when I retire, I'm coming back to Turkey for pleasure, and I'm going to travel all around and see your wonderful country. Second, along with that, I am coming to Istanbul. I'll be there 2 weeks from tomorrow for IEFT. I was originally going to be there on Friday, but my Turkish Airlines canceled my flight. So I'm now getting in there late Friday night. So I wanted that full Friday to meet with students and meet with agents and everything. Unfortunately, I'm not getting into late Friday night, but I do have windows of time on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and perhaps even Sunday evening after the fair. I'd love to meet with your students. I'm just doing Istanbul on this one. I'm not getting to Ankara or Izmir. But if there's a way for you, if there's a, if you have a student or somebody, then they want to meet in the lobby, or possibly do an early morning visit to one of your offices, we could look at that. And so that's October 22nd and 23rd. That's Saturday and Sunday. So I'll go through these slides. I definitely want this to be conversational. So if you have a question, just throw it in the chat, or just get off your microphone, unmute and ask the question. So this is really much more important to valuable to your time. So stop me if there's something that's not clear, or if you have a follow-up question. Okay. So here we go. So really kind of a quick overview of our agency partnerships. We have agreements with about 75 agencies, and we will enroll about 250 students in the next admission cycle, maybe more. And so for us, partnering with people like Global it helps us be the best campus we can be. And so, I know my whole opinion on agents is it's 5 to 10% of agencies ruin it for the other 90%. We very much think of you guys as customers of ours, and we're here to best serve you. We can't make you any promises about admissions types of things, but you're important to our work, and we look at you as a customer and a partner of ours. So we're here to kind of best serve you and your work. So why RIT? I would say most of you are familiar with, several dozen universities. And so here are kind of some statistics for us and what we stand for. I would really look at that second one. Is we're very, very career focused. And I'm going to get into that into just a little bit. So we are, we're a large private university. We're 12,000 undergraduate and 4,000 graduate. So here's just some kind of statistics on us. We are in the city of Rochester. Most people, when they hear New York, they think of New York City. We're actually in the full other part of the city. We're up near Toronto. So very safe. Rochester's a small city, but about 60 years ago, we were an urban campus and we ran out of space. So they moved us to a suburban campus about 10 miles from downtown. It's a gorgeous 1,200-acre campus, very safe, very secure, and a wonderful place to study. It's just beautiful, especially this time of year during the fall. Now, most people, when you hear that phrase Institute of Technology, you instantly kind of go to STEM, but we're really so much more than that. We have a wonderful College of Art and Design, and we have a really interesting business school. We have a wonderful sustainability program. So we, like I said, we have over 90 programs. So we have a little bit of everything for everybody. We do get 60% of our applications for 8 programs. But just because you hear that phrase, Institute of Technology, please don't get kind of caught up on that. We do have lots of experiential learning, a ton of abilities to do research. We have a great entrepreneurship program, a lot of work and study abroad through our global campuses. But the big kind of co-curricular program that we're known for is this next slide, which is co-op or cooperative education. I'm not sure, when I talk with audiences from different countries, I'm not sure how familiar people are with co-op. But really, if you put co-op into a Google, you'd probably get internship, but it's much different than an internship. And when our students go on co-op, they take either a summer or a semester off, and they get placed with an American company or a multinational company, and they're actually doing the work. They're getting paid. They're not paying tuition while they're on co-op. So co-op is really the best thing that we do. Currently, we're ranked 4th. We're consistently in the top 10. And what's truly compelling about our cooperative education program is that is how successful our international students are with co-op. 76% of our international students do 2 co-ops. And 30% of our international students, when they graduate, they go immediately to work at a company where they co-opt. So that statistic always blows me away. We get the students those work experiences. The joke that we have on campus is that when our students graduate, they get 2 pieces of paper. They get one piece of paper that is that's their diploma. The other piece of paper they get is a resume with experiences. Right now it's a really interesting time. My Generation X, we went to college to find ourselves. Generation Z is very different. They want to know what they're getting for this investment of time and investment of money. And they want those experiences. They're very career focused. And so we've been doing co-op for over 100 years, but it's kind of right now exactly what the market wants. And actually, I have some Turkish students who've done some very interesting co-ops. So co-op is really the best thing that we do, and it's kind of the glue that ties all of our programs together. And here I put together a couple of slides that are differences between co-op and internships. Excuse me. We also have opportunities for research. If you do have students who very much want to do research, that's a huge part of what we do. But here's why international students really choose RIT, and this is just being really honest. They get the work experience. I'm assuming the people on this call, most of the people on this call are familiar with OPT, but it's the ability to stay and work in the United States after graduation. We're the 3rd per capita. Last year at graduation, we had over 900 students graduate who graduated last April, who are here working in the United States right now. So we offer a phenomenal education across all of our programs, but we know from all of our surveying, this is why international students choose us. When they look at us and they look at other schools, that this was what, this slide is what made them make the decision to come to RIT. And here, this shows you our outcomes. You'll see some very familiar logos here where our students are working. We're also working at a lot of smaller companies. Our co-op program, about 50% do it in the state of New York. About 35% do them in other parts of the United States, and about 15% of students do them in other parts of the world. So it's really, really diverse You know, a lot of it depends on what it is they're studying. But companies look at us. See, companies love the co-op program because it gives them a tryout to evaluate young talent, to give young talent a try to see them for 3 or 4 months on a small basis, and then if they like them, to offer them a full-time position when they graduate. So, you know, we give 2 outcomes, both in education and work experiences. Here's our campus. We do guarantee housing for international students. We have a beautiful 1,200-acre campus, very modern. We're in the process, if you can believe it, of doing $250 million of renovations to our campus. This is what's called our shed, a student hall for exploration and development. It looks a little bit different than the shed that's in my yard. It's going to open this spring. And it's going to be a maker space, a community space, and a black box theater. We just opened this building a little over a year ago. It's a $30 million building, all for cybersecurity. If your students, you know, what we find is that so many students want to study computer science, but a lot of them don't fully understand even what computer science is. And computer science, it's just such a generalist degree that right now there's such a huge need for cybersecurity. And we're one of the top schools for it. And we've just have this beautiful, beautiful new $30 million facility that we've built just for computing security. And here's some other things that we're building. Another thing I want to talk about is we have a campus in Dubai that is just beautiful. It's been around for 15 years, and it's partially subsidized by the UAE government. So it's only $27,000 a year for tuition, housing, and meal plan, and that's before scholarship. And so there is a lot of you know, it's much closer for you. Another thing about our Dubai campus that's nice is they can begin in Dubai and spend a year or 2 there, and then transfer over to the American campus to save money. So that's something to think about. Here's some pictures of our campus. In the very back, in the top of the picture, you can see the city of Rochester. So you can see, you know, we've got a little bit of a space there, and it's a gorgeous campus. So, you know, to go through the application information, we're fairly typical of most American universities. For the undergraduate, we are test optional. I would say if your student is applying for something STEM oriented, if their SAT math is 720 or higher, I would share it. If it's below that, I wouldn't share it. If it's not STEM, I would say you're looking at least a 1,300 to share. If it's below that, I wouldn't share it. We reward students who do well on the SAT. We don't punish students who don't share them. We do require a test of English language. We are accepting the Duolingo with a minimum score of 105. That's not on the slide, but we are accepting the Duolingo. Otherwise, really fairly common of most American universities. Our graduate admissions requirements are a little bit more complicated because it depends on the program. Each program has their own admission standard. But here's the documents that they need. About 40% of our students still require the GRE or GMAT. About 60% don't. So it really depends on the specific program. Here is our tuition and scholarship information. At undergraduate, we do have a small pool of need-based financial aid for undergraduate students. We love having students from Turkey and realize that we have to give a little bit more scholarship to get them. So we try to make it as affordable as possible. I know the exchange rate right now has taken a huge hit. And so that's something that's on people's minds in Turkey. And so we're going to do our best to make it as affordable as we can. So scholarships are typically between $5,000 and $25,000 per year. And financial aid is anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 per year. Our graduate tuition just does merit scholarships. They typically are between 10% and 40% of tuition. And there is, you don't need to apply for scholarship, both at undergraduate and the graduate level. You're automatically considered at the time of admission. And so we've built a landing page just for agents. Here, if you want to take a picture of that, I'll leave this slide up for a minute, but we have a landing page just for you. So it has a lot of brochures and things that you can download, some videos. So all of that is in there. The other thing that is on there is our next slide. And I'll come back to this link before the end of the presentation if you haven't gotten your camera out in time. Is our agency referral form is really important. We can only have a student qualify for a commission if you complete this form within 5 days of the application being submitted. So if you have a student that you know is thinking about RIT, just go ahead and complete this form. It makes all of our jobs a lot easier. So we have that on the agency landing page. Like I said, here are the resources. We have, along with that landing page, we have this tab here, www.rit.edu/international. Another thing that's nice about that page is you can schedule an appointment for a 30-minute meeting with an admissions counselor right there. There's a great virtual tour. So that's another great page for you. There's some more information. And so now I know I sped through these just because I arrived late, but I will open the floor to questions. So you can either unmute or you can put it in the chat. Any questions?
What about living costs about New York?
Sure. So in this slide, we've tried to make it as accurate as possible. Virtually all of our international students, undergraduate, live on campus. Our graduate, a lot of them get apartments nearby. And so that's what these numbers are based off of. I would say that these are a high estimate, that they could bring the price down maybe 20%. So this 72,000 number for undergraduate and 59,000 for graduate, that's everything. And that's before scholarship and aid. So this is the very top price point. Once again, I know just how hard the exchange rate is making it for your students right now. And I'm hoping at some point that'll turn around. I've been saying that for a year or so now. We do our best to afford it. So my territory is Turkey, but I also oversee the office and I also oversee the scholarship committee. And I made Turkey part of my territory because I love your students. They're so wonderful. Actually, I hired one to work in my office for his student job. And it's just, it's such a wonderful culture. I love Istanbul. Actually, I'm staying in the Bosphorus, which I lived in Greenwich Village in New York City when I went to college. And it reminds me a lot of that area.
Thank you. We're honored.
Yeah, no, it is. It's such a warm culture. I've never met a Turk I didn't like. Very unique culture. You're people who think. You're thinking people. I'm a person who just talks. But I love Turkey. Any other questions?
Actually, I want to ask you about the TOEFL and IELTS. You said you accept. What about the Pearson Academy, which is another proficiency?
Yeah, we do. We don't see the PTE much anymore, but we do accept it. I've got to look up our minimum. I can't believe I can't remember this. I just want to make sure I give you the right number. is, because we have so few people using the PTE these days. I'm going to look it up, and like I said, it's not on this slide, but we are accepting the Duolingo for at least another year with 105 as the minimum score. Other questions? Happy to answer anything. I'm almost to the PTE here.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any scholarship opportunities?
We do. So all of our students are considered for scholarship. They typically range from undergraduate 5% or $5,000 to $25,000. And at the graduate level, it's between 10% and 40%. But typically our Turkish students get near the very high end of that, provided we can admit them.
Oh, can I ask you a question about the scholarship? You said the 10 and 40%. What does this parameter is depending on?
Academic quality, fit of the program. And the other thing that I'll say, just to be really kind of upfront, is we get 60% of our applications for 8 programs, which are computer science, computer engineering, computing security, biomedical engineering, animation, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and one other. And so those other programs, those other 90 programs, a lot of times we're able to be more generous with scholarship because they have more, more of a budget to play with.
Thank you for your answer. It would be great, Paul, if you send us a price list and all the opportunities of scholarship for Turkey.
Okay, I could do that. I could definitely do that.
I have a question too. How about the nationality mix in your school? Could you give some examples?
Sure. Well, we have students from over 100 countries. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to look up how many we have for Turkey right now. We don't have enough, I'll tell you that much. That's why we're doing this call. Let's see here. We have We have 7 students from Turkey right now. So we definitely want more. Mm-hmm. But we have students from all over. Actually, we have less Chinese than your typical university. So it's a really good mix. It's a really good blend of students from really all over. Other questions? Any other questions? I'm sorry. I found it. The minimum PTE academic is 57 for direct admission. We also have a wonderful English language center too, and we do conditional admission for most of our programs, where they can take a class or two. Kind of depending where their English is, they can take a class or two. I'll say my first trip to Turkey was in, I think, 2008. And between then and now, the level of English in Turkey for students has gotten much better. My theory is a lot of it's Netflix. That the spoken English is much better. The written English is about the same. So I'm giving Netflix credit. Students watching House of Cards and Ozark, and I see a lot of smiles and nodding heads. So you guys watch Netflix too. Good. We need a big. That's what you guys need. You need a big international show that takes place in Turkey. One of you has to come up with the script for that.
Why not? Maybe one day. Who knows?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'll come up with a good plot, because you guys have so much history. And it's such an interesting country. And there's so much history in Turkey that's kind of in a time frame of when the rest of the world didn't have much interesting history going on, you know, kind of the rise of Constantinople. I know about 1% of it. But like I said, one of these years I'm gonna come and vacation there. And I want to get to your beaches too on the Mediterranean.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
And also, we are just living into a store right now. Just you need some bark to tell it.
Yeah. It is, and I probably shouldn't talk about politics, but it is real. So the last time I was in Turkey was right before the pandemic. That was the last place I visited, and I almost got stuck there. I was like one of those last few days before everything shut down. And you could definitely feel, so I was there in 2019, and previous to that had been like 2016. And you could feel a shift, you know, just in the vibe. Very same thing as America, you know, that we in 2016, we had this titanic seismic shift that was, in my opinion, awful. But that it's interesting times in Turkey for sure. And no, if there's people on this call who don't like your president, there's a lot of people in the country who don't like our president. A lot of people who don't like the previous president. You can't please everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're choosing.
Yeah. No, it like I said, it's interesting. You can feel the kind of it's become more conservative over there. Like when a tourist can feel it, that's when you know it's been a shift. I will say this: we're in an incredibly safe part of the U.S. We're an incredibly tolerant, liberal part of the U.S. Rochester is interesting because it's got. I'm not from Rochester originally. I spent a lot of time in New York City, and I spent a lot of time in the Midwest. And we have kind of the smarts of the East Coast, kind of the intellectualism of the East Coast, with the friendliness of the Midwest, kind of in the place, you know, because we're right in the same area. But I know safety is on people's minds. They see the news. We're a very safe and secure campus. We're in the suburbs. You know, our campus is kind of like a small city, and we're trying to get our students to leave campus to go experience things. And they're so busy and there's so much going on campus that a lot of times students don't need to leave very often. But if they do, it's very safe. Anything else while we're all together? Okay, I'm going to put my email. I always joke that I have a really average car, but I have a luxury email address. There's 4,000 people who work here, and that's my email. And so you can email me anytime, and both with your Netflix script. Maybe we'll work together. You know, you can be the writer and I'll be the producer. But then also, I do have time on the 22nd and 23rd. If you wanted me to meet, do people on this call know about the IEFT event, right? Is that familiar? Okay.
Yeah, we will there probably.
Okay. So, and if you're there, please stop by my table and introduce yourself. You know, I'm always willing to meet a group of students on short notice, either in person while I'm there or virtually. And the other thing that I'd say is I'm very close. Funny enough, I'm meeting with them this afternoon. They're meeting to shoot some video for my trip of both professors that we have here who are from Turkey, and I have some students from Turkey. You know what? I'm going to have them shoot some video, and I'm going to give them the script that's promoting the IEFT fair, but then I'm also going to have it say something about global visions, and I'll share those with you. So you've got some really quick things that you can boost out on social media.
It would be great. We can use it on our social media. Thanks for your collaboration, Paul.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else? Okay, I hope to see you all. I can't believe it's going to be 2 weeks from now. I hope to see you all in 2 weeks. If you need anything, just shoot me an email, okay?
Looking forward to see you. And after your retirement, we are waiting for you while our arms are wide open.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Take care. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.